Now, you hear a lot about different people running in the New York mayoral race. Obviously, Anthony Weiner is the largest one. Didn't even mean it until it came out of my mouth. Okay, but he's not winning the race. He's actually fourth after all the latest scandals. He dropped from number 1 to number 4. The person leading the race is Christine Quinn. But that's not who we're going to talk about here. We're going to talk about Bill de Blasio. You know why? Because here comes Bill de Blasio from behind. He's moved all the way up to number 2. How has he done that? Well, he was a public advocate, and he actually is very likely the most progressive out of all of them who are running. And you look, it's New York City, they're Democrats, it's already a liberal place, they're all pretty liberal. But de Blasio, in my estimation, based on the issues I've seen him on, is the most progressive, and by the way, cares a lot about getting money out of politics and has worked towards that, so obviously I'm going to be in favor of that position. And then he came out with a very interesting ad that has to do with race a little bit. Let's show you the ad and then we'll talk about why I think it might be so effective.
I want to tell you a little bit about Bill de Blasio. He's the only Democrat with the guts to really break from the Bloomberg years. The only one who will raise taxes on the rich to fund early childhood and after-school programs. He's got the boldest plan to build affordable housing, and he's the only one who will end a stop-and-frisk era that unfairly targets people of color. Bill de Blasio will be a mayor for every New Yorker, no matter where they live or what they look like. And I'd say that even if he weren't my dad.
Oh, a little twisty twist at the end there. Turns out it's his son. And of course, that was his wife at the end of that as well. And gee, I wonder if he's bringing race into this to try to get African American and Latino votes. Of course he is, but you know what I say? Great, okay. In fact, he's actually doing pretty well overall, but his numbers with African Americans and Latinos are not that great. If he can bring those up, he might actually be able to win. Now look, will people be able to relate to him more in those communities knowing that his wife and his kids are black? Of course they will, right? I was talking to JR about this off air, and JR was like, oh, I like the ad, you know, and I guess if I was in New York, I'd vote for him. He said, and the kid reminds me of my cousin. Bingo. Okay, now that's not the reason JR would vote for him. We talked about his policy positions, but it doesn't hurt to say, oh yeah, I can relate to that. That guy looks like my cousin, and he's his son, right? So I think it's an incredibly effective ad. Now, when you talk about his positions, not only does he say he's going to stop and frisk, the other candidates say, oh, we got massive issues with stop and frisk and we're going to really look into it. Really look into it doesn't mean you're going to stop it. De Blasio is saying, end of this, and I'm going to be the cop that stops it. And furthermore, the cop who started it, Ray Kelly, he said, I'm going to fire him. I'm going to get a new police chief. Anybody who says they're going to fire Ray Kelly, I jump Enid. So all of a sudden, I'm a fan of Bill de Blasio. And I think that ad is awesome. Now, of course, it depends on how many people see it. But if it gets out wide, I think Bill de Blasio might be the next mayor of New York City. I said it. I said it. Hear me now, quote me later. Go.